Right now, under your feet, the Earth is spinning at roughly 1,000 miles an hour, and you can't feel a single second of it. So somewhere online, you've probably seen the question, what if all 8 billion of us jumped at the exact same moment? Could we knock the planet off course? The answer is no. And the reason why is far stranger than the myth. Because the fear underneath that question is real. The idea that if we just coordinated, every human, one motion, one instant, we could shove the ground hard enough to matter. Move the spin. Nudge the orbit. Leave a mark on the thing that carries us. It feels like it should work. 8 billion is an unimaginable number. And here's the part nobody tells you. The danger was never the jump. We'll come back to that. First, you need to understand exactly how small you are. The Earth weighs 5.97 septillion kilograms. Written out, that's 5.97 followed by 24 zeros. Now weigh humanity. Take all 8.3 billion of us alive in 2026, every adult, every child, every newborn, and put us on one impossible scale. We come to about 500 million tons. Roughly 500 billion kilograms. That sounds enormous. Against the Earth, it isn't. Do the division and the entire human species weighs about 1 part in 12 trillion of the planet we're standing on. You, jumping, are a flea on the back of something so large it doesn't have a word for us. But surely, 8 billion fleas pushing at once add up to something. That's where the first illusion lives. Call it the recoil illusion, the belief that you can move the thing you're standing on by pushing off from the inside. When you jump, you do push the Earth down. Newton's third law, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So the planet really does recoil in the opposite direction by a tiny amount. Multiply that by 8 billion people, and you'd think it stacks into something real. Let's measure it. If every person on Earth jumped about a foot off the ground at once, the planet would recoil in the other direction by a distance smaller than the width of a single atom. Not a little smaller. About 1,000 times smaller than one atom across. You would need an instrument that doesn't exist to detect it. And then it gets worse for the myth. Because the instant you reach the top of your jump, gravity is already pulling you back down. When 8 billion bodies land, they push the Earth the opposite way by the exact same amount. The recoil cancels. The planet returns to precisely where it started. Not approximately, exactly. There's a law underneath this. You cannot move the center of mass of a system using only forces from inside it. No matter how many of us jump, no matter how hard, the Earth plus human system as a whole never drifts an inch. We are a closed room trying to push ourselves across the floor by shoving the walls. It cannot be done. So the planet is safe. Which means the only way to make anything happen at all is to do the one thing the question assumes is easy. Get all of us to move at the exact same moment. And that turns out to be impossible too. This is the synchronization problem, and it's the part that quietly breaks the whole experiment. Imagine you fire one perfect signal. Jump now. It has to reach everyone. But nothing travels faster than light. And even light takes about 1/7 of a second to cross the planet from one side to the other. Through real cables and towers, longer. So before the message has even arrived everywhere, the people who got it first are already in the air. Now add the human body. Your reaction time to something you see is around 1/4 of a second. And that number swings wildly from person to person, day to day, by hundreds of milliseconds. Some of us are tired. Some are children. Some hesitate. A signal that demands a single instant collides with 8 billion nervous systems that each answer on their own clock. So instead of one clean pulse, one drumbeat the planet might theoretically feel, you get a smear. A jump spread across whole seconds, a soft mush of bodies rising and falling out of step, each tiny recoil pointing a slightly different way, canceling its neighbors. There is no unified shove. There was never going to be. The exact same moment is a thing that exists in the question and nowhere in the universe. So nothing moves. The Earth doesn't notice. And yet, the experiment isn't harmless. Remember the danger I promised wasn't the jump? Here it is. The only real consequence is the landing. Call it the drop. Add up the energy of every human body hitting the ground at the same time, and you get somewhere around 1/3 of a kiloton of TNT. That sounds frightening until you spread it across the entire surface of the Earth. Every continent, every field, every street. At which point it vanishes into nothing. Our planet absorbs far more without blinking. When a single rock exploded over Chelyabinsk, Russia in 2013, it released around 500 kilotons, more than 1,000 times the energy of all of humanity landing at once. The Earth shrugged that off. It would never feel us. But notice the assumption hiding in the question. To synchronize a jump, you'd want everyone watching the same signal in the same place. And the writer Randall Munroe ran exactly that version. What if every human gathered into one spot and jumped? Concentrate 8 billion bodies into a single region, and the landing becomes a local earthquake, a wall of sound, a shudder in the ground beneath that one place. Survivable, even then. But that's not what kills people in that scenario. What kills them is after. 8 billion human beings standing shoulder to shoulder in one place, the experiment over, every single one of them now needing to eat, to drink, to find a road, to go home. No food within reach. No water. No way out. The most dangerous force in this entire thought experiment was never the jump and never the planet. It was 8 billion people in the same place at the same time, and the simple, fatal arithmetic of all of them trying to leave. So here's where the threads meet. One jump moves the Earth by less than an atom, and then unmoves it. We cannot push the planet from inside. We cannot even act in unison. We are one part in 12 trillion of the ground we live on, and against the planet's raw mass, we will always be a rounding error. And yet, the thing that should actually unsettle you is this. We have moved the Earth, not in a second, over decades. The same species that can't dent the planet with a synchronized jump has slowly reshaped its climate, redrawn its coastlines of ice, and rearranged its living matter so thoroughly that human bodies and the animals we raise now outweigh nearly every wild mammal left. The Earth was never going to feel us jump. It is already feeling our weight, applied not all at once, but continuously, for a very long time. So the real lesson of the jump isn't that you're powerless. It's the opposite, and it's stranger. A single instant of all of us together does nothing. A single direction, held for a lifetime, changes the face of a planet. You are 1/8 billionth of the only thing on Earth that could even ask this question, and the only thing capable of answering it on purpose. The Earth doesn't fear our jump. The question is what it should make of everything we do between the jumps. What's one thing you think 8 billion people, all pulling the same direction, could actually change? Tell me below.